I'm on a walk with my Cho, and she doesn't want to be in the video, but today we are walking. I started, what did I do today? I do my typical morning routine, and I started, I did a training thing at a local boutique, because as you know, well, probably now, that I think I like just to like talk and be around people, which, so like when you hear from the customers, like a lot of people have, like, if you stop and talk to them, they have a lot of interesting things to say, and I appreciate that. So that's what I did. And yeah, now Cho and I are at the park, and I'll check in later. Can't remember to say bye, Po. You should say bye, Po. Like in Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs too, where it's like, say bye, Barb. Bye, Barb. Cho's laughing because I continued to talk as these people were judging us. But guess what? Life is short, so I don't really care. And that's today's thing. I also have another thing to say about that I thought about Christina Tosi's opinion on cake and how that's related to me not editing my videos. But I will say that in a different video that will be attached to this one, clearly, that Cho's gonna watch anyways. So don't even pretend that she's annoyed. Like, why does everyone do this? Why does everyone get annoyed when I talk? Because I actually...
Did you repeat the same thing?
No, I don't, Cho.
We talked about this morning.
No, because I told you what I was gonna say. I thought of it in the shower. And I also was thinking on the tread this morning, but I didn't record because I didn't feel like I had something of value to say, and I was just speaking into the void being my phone. And I was like, you know what? I don't even want to say what I'm about to say, so why would someone want to listen? So I was like, because at that point I want to make sure I'm holding myself accountable and not just making content, which I said I'm not going to use that word, because this is not content. This is like speaking to encourage thought, which is not content. But I do want you to consume it. But it's kind of like whole wheat bread versus Wonder Bread, so clearly I'm the whole wheat option, Ezekiel bread. Yeah, that's it. I'm going to stop because I feel like I'm running out of meaningful conversational tips. What am I saying? I need to stop. Okay. Po, you got your wish. Okay. The next video will be my Christina Tosi thing, maybe, or not. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm currently having 2 hard-boiled eggs, which before I'm going to say what I put on them, but I don't want any judgment. And well, sure, actually I'll welcome judgment, but I'll defend it. So I put, do I show you? Yes, I show you because it's pretty. I put cinnamon on them. It's really good. Anyway, so when I was looking at that egg, I got up to get my phone to get a picture because it looks so pretty to me, because the yellow and the brown and the white, and I love that color combination. And I was thinking that the aesthetics of what we surround ourselves with, it's so interesting how it lifts your mood, because I was sitting here and I was kind of wallowing in a bad mood, and I was like, and then you look at the colors, and it's so pretty. Like it looks like a coconut. And then I was thinking about the walk I went on with Cho, and it's like the people kind of do the same thing that you surround yourself with. It influences how you see the world around you. And I just wanted to send a reminder to anyone who might need it that sometimes when you're really happy, remember to thank the people who are around you. And if you're really miserable, then maybe change who's around you. And then also, if you don't know what's wrong, consider who you surround yourself with, because it's like that's a form of consumption that we are constantly around, and it influences us in ways that maybe we don't always intend or expect or appreciate. So like sometimes if you're like, you know, I'm always in a good mood when I see this person, or okay, I don't like when I'm being perceived in a way I don't want to be, but you can't help that, can you? But where was I? Oh yeah, so basically I wanted to say that that sometimes, oh, and then if you can't figure out maybe why you feel bad or unhappy or happy or something like that, consider the people. But also, if you're always by yourself or if you're always around other people, maybe take the time to do the opposite. So, because for me, if I'm by myself too long, it actually is terrible. But if I'm always around other people, then it's also terrible because you don't have time to continue to build yourself. So it's like you sleep at night by yourself. Well, you sleep at night like in your head to recover from the day's, damage. And similarly, you need alone time and time with other people. So it's kind of just like a call for balance, and that's a reminder I always need, and I thought maybe someone would benefit from it. And to think this all stemmed from my hard-boiled egg with cinnamon on it, it's interesting to me. And I didn't forget about the Christina Tosi thing that I am going to talk about, but I'll do that in a different video that I'll stitch, but I wanted to share that. Actually, another thing I didn't articulate as well in that last portion is that sometimes, like, you know how people say, like, presence is a gift? So sometimes I think that, like, when I notice that other people are feeling down or when they're acting weird, it's like sometimes you want to send them something. It's like, oh, let me send them a, $5 Starbucks gift card. That's what I send to my mom when she's having a bad day. But sometimes I think it actually means more when you just spend time with somebody. It's like your presence is a gift sometimes for people too. And there's value in because, like, time is something that you can't buy. It doesn't matter how rich or poor you are. Everybody has a mysterious amount of time. And it's like when you give time to other people, it's like that's the ultimate form of love, I think, because it's like you notice that they need something and you give them something as valuable as your time. And I wanted to say that as well. So sometimes if someone is spending extra time with you, maybe convey a thanks. And if someone's not spending time with you, take that as a sign. I don't know if that's good or bad. That's a thing about their character. Like, I don't know, because sometimes, why do I keep saying sometimes? A lot of well, I'm just trying not to generalize, and my thoughts are kind of discombobulated again. But I don't know. I just think that yeah, you guys are probably starting to see a pattern where it's like you get these like half-baked thoughts that you want to talk out and they don't come out as planned. But that's the thing about the perfection I'm trying to get better at, where it's like sometimes the half-baked thought is just enough to inspire something in somebody else. So yeah, I don't know. I just think notice when people give time to you, notice when they don't, because that's the ultimate commodity, I think, time. So yeah, also that's how I show my appreciation for people. I spend more time with them because I think that, I've already done my diatribe on time, but I'm using that specific phrasing because I'm going to remind myself to talk about the Christina Tosi cake thing that I want to talk about. And I'll just talk about it now. In the Chef's Table episode, it's season 4 pastry episode 1, yeah, Christina Tosi. And so there's a point where she's talking about birthday cake and she's like, why would I cover it up? It is this dollhouse moment of, I want to see the world and the intricacies of what's in the cake or whatever. It's very similar to that phrasing. And she's right. I really like that thought process because I love to see the behind the scenes things. And sometimes, like, when I'm looking for something, like, it's almost like it's like a craving that you can't quite satisfy. Like, I don't know if anyone else has this. Well, based on my first video, I said if I think this, I'm sure someone else has this. So to be consistent, I'm sure someone else thinks this. But I always kind of want to see the behind the scenes. So like when you watch like your favorite comfort show or like The Office or The Great British Baking Show, which is for me what I want to see too. Or specifically for movies, like I want many movies, like one of my favorite movies ever is the Johnny Depp Charlie and the Chocolate Factory movie, as well as the Matilda Danny DeVito 1990s classic movie. And I always look for like behind the scenes how they shot this, the thought process of the director, because it's like it's one thing to see what a group of people created, but it's another thing to hear about how they did it and what inspired them. And I think sometimes that's even more stimulating than the actual movie that they made. So I wish that there was like as much effort put into documentation behind the scenes as there is the actual movie, because that thought process I think should be preserved as well because of how valuable it is to me, at least. Like hearing about like in a movie like such as like in The Nightmare Before Christmas, or I think it's even most present in things like stop motion and animated films, because it's like every detail is intentional. It was placed there for a reason. And I want to hear about the people that did that, because it's such a work of art to just think that all these people were able to create a symphony of thought and art and expression for this one movie that they come together for. And that's why I love movies. And I knew I was going to talk about my affinity for entertainment. And I haven't even mentioned my quote about that Roman poet. It's like, give them bread and circuses and they'll be okay and they won't revolt. And that's the thing about order, but it's another thing about like entertainment. But anyways, that I didn't fully explain and I'm not trying to. But the Christina Tosi thing is that I've heard that phrase, and it's I kind of like, I let it like bounce back behind in my head all the time. I just hear it sometimes. And I think today I realized that it is applicable to what I'm doing, because it's like the behind the scenes footage is kind of like the decision to not put frosting on the cake, to not edit everything that you say. And I'm not saying that you should just say everything you think, but it's kind of like being okay with poor articulation, because sometimes that's just enough to get your point across. Other times you need to be concise and precise. But in things like this, I think it's refreshing just to hear people think and talk and make mistakes, because it's a reminder that we're all human. So, and if there's one thing about being human, it's that humans aren't going to be perfect or predictable, but they can create, and that is something that's beautiful about a human being. And Aristotle says that too. It's the most divine quality of a human is the ability for reproduction, because you can create a creator. So not in the God sense, but potentially theologically based. I don't know. But anyways, so yeah, that was so I did talk about the Christina Tosi thing. I was going to show you guys on Netflix, but I'm sure you can find the episode yourself if you want. It's David Gelb's Chef's Table. I think he did a beautiful job of shooting that documentary, that series of documentaries. And he also did Jiro Dreams of Sushi, which is really good. Yeah. So anyways, yeah, that's what I wanted to say. So yeah, as I'm sure you've understood, I have two things that I find quite interesting are food and entertainment, because they're both things that can bring people together through all walks of life. Like people can sit down and watch a movie, and you can be any age, any background, any education, any social class, and get something from it. And same with a shared meal. You can be a young kid and express your gratitude for your mom and make them breakfast, or you can be a grandma and pass down like a recipe, and that's a way of like sharing heritage. And I just think that food and entertainment are really interesting for those reasons, and that's why I'm interested in that quote, but I'll talk about that later. Anyways, yeah, I know I've said anyways like a bunch of times, and I've said sometimes, and yeah, but those are my thoughts. I have more. Oh, I had a point about disco that I wanted to make too, because I was listening to disco this morning on the tread, and it really lifted my mood. So Daddy Cool, Boney M, Rasputin, best Just Dance song, and I'm really good at it too. Yeah, don't do it if you have bad knees though. If you know. I don't know why I said that. I never say things like that. Okay, bye-bye for now. One more thing. I also wanted to say, so a time thing that I noticed today was that like listening to other people intently is also a way of showing appreciation and that you care about them, because it's like that's a way of giving them time, because you're also like importing part of your energy to contemplating what they say. And it's like, it's almost like the information's becoming a part of your being, which is why in my first caption in the pilot, I was like, I appreciate your time and contemplation. I told my parents that I'm doing this, and they like ogle me as I am recording myself talking, and that's annoying. But yeah, so I was thinking about that today because as I was saying on the walk that I started this, I'm going to be working just a little bit at a boutique locally, and I'm excited because I like to talk to people and listen to see what they have to say, and that's a way of me showing that I care about them, about everybody, that I actually will listen and contemplate what people say because I think there's value in that. And a lot of times people just like speak, like I was saying, like you speak into the void and no one hears everybody because everyone's screaming. But it's like when you take the time to listen, which I'm trying to get better at. But yeah, so like listening to other people intently is a way of showing that you care. And that's another thing. Maybe try that today. Try to just listen for once instead of talk and share your opinion right away. Just like listen and see how long people go. Because I think that like when I say see how long people go, it's like I think sometimes a lot of people just need to be listened to. And this is, I don't know why a lot of this that I'm saying comes off as like therapizing other people. That's not what I'm trying to do. I just think that like my personal philosophy is to take ideas from other people, from other thinkers, to be a better person. So in one sense, it's kind of an ethical thing, like an ethical kind of perspective on how to live a good life, but it's also like how to be a good person in your community. And I think by listening to other people, like you might be surprised about how much they're willing to share or how much they want to share, because it's like we are reaching for this like sense of belonging and community, and by, you know, being heard by other people also entails listening. And I think the being heard part is often expressed by just shouting what we think, but the listening is not always received, and sometimes it's good to focus on that, even though the point is balance. It's like when something's unbalanced, you kind of have to listen more intently so you can rebalance it. So yeah, that's my thing for, probably not my last thing, but I do actually want to end it here because I want to reward you for listening, but not, you know, force so many things down so many people's throats. But yeah. Anyways, more thoughts to come. Yeah. I still don't really know what the whole purpose of my thought and talk is, but I think that like it seems like it's becoming more of like a way for me to share my philosophy, which I'm sure if people in my college classes see this, they're gonna be like, oh, here she goes again. But yes, I do want to share what I think and what I think might help others, because if it helps me, maybe it will help someone. That's what I think. This hair piece, I always need to push back. But yeah, I'm gonna do more things like going outside and, you know, gardening, and I'll show you guys the garden, and I'll do some cooking, and I was thinking I might start like upholstering new furniture, so I'll show that too. So it won't just all be talking, but that's what it is right now, so that's what it will be.